What's going on, gamblers, DJs, and everybody else in between? This is the Gamblers Anonymous Podcast, GAP, GAP for short, because we're closing the gap between you and the bookies. Hopefully everyone's having a good start to their weekend. It's roughly 12:30 here in Winnipeg Central Standard Time. The weekend is upon us. Gambling is upon us. And the NHL trade deadline is upon us. Who's going to be moved? Who will not be moved? Who's your sellers? Who's your buyers? I don't really give a shit about any of that, though. All I care about is giving you guys locks. But before we can do that, let's just jump into the recap. And this episode, I'm your host, JG, and let's get right into it. So the first lock I gave you guys last week, Bologna over 9.5 shots. Lock it in, baby. That came in. But you knew that at minus 138, they ended the game with 11 shots. The first half, I thought Atalanta was going to have it, looking good for it to the moon too. They're up 1-0. I'm like, perfect. First half ended with 5 shots. I'm like, perfect, even better for Bologna. But then the second half, Bologna came out. They worked Atalanta. They worked them. It could have been easily 3-4-1 Bologna. But that kind of fucked up our to the moon because I had Atalanta over 2.5. It turned out to be Bologna over 2.5. Hey, it is what it is. Tough, we're this close. But we did get the lock at minus 138, so beautiful, beautiful. The next one I had for you guys, Napoli versus Juventus. Both teams to score, minus 106. And again, cha-ching, cha-ching, this came in. What a game. Kivara. Oh my God, what a volley right at the end of the first half. Ball comes up, volleys. Nice little side kick, dropped it in. What a goal, what a game to go up 1-0. And then you just knew it was only a matter of time before Juventus got their goal. Got on the goals card, got on the scoring sheet, whatever you want to call it. Federico Chiesa. What an absolute beauty of a goal. Drills it in. Makes it 1-1. Both teams to score. It's in the 80th minute. I had the tie for you guys for to the moon. And what happens? What happens? Juventus commits a penalty in the box. And that puts Victor Osimhen to the penalty kick. Like I said, I knew he was going to do it. Denied. Saved. But then Marco Politano comes in, bangs home the rebound goal, goes up 2-1. I think that's bullshit. The play should not continue if the goalie makes a save. Like, how more unfair can it be for a goalie? That's some bullshit. Game ended up being 2-1, but Juventus could have won if Vlahovic could have scored. I don't know how many times Chiesa gave him a beautiful pass, a beautiful feed. Oh my God, perfect through ball, and he couldn't finish. He could not finish. He hit the post, the woodwork one time, and that was to the extent of his game. He just couldn't finish, and Juventus ended up losing 2-1 to Napoli. But hey, we still got our lock at minus 106, almost plus money. That's what I like to see. That's what I like to see. I knew it. I gave it to y'all. And then the final one, Inter Milan minus 1.5 on the Asian spread at $1.86. And no, it did not come in. I do not know how Inter is playing, but they could have killed them. They could have killed them. Don't get me wrong. They gave Genoa their chances. Genoa had their chances, but their goalie played good. And, man, Inter should have won 4-1. They had multiple chances, but they ended up winning 2-1. Tough, heartbreak. And I had Inter over 2.5 for the to the moon, and they only had 2. So, again, so close. We were this close. If the ball goes another way for Atalanta, we get 1. If it goes another way for Vlahovic, we get that tie. And if Inter could score that third goal, we would have hit it. So close, but we're going to come back for redemption week this week for To The Moon. I have a funny feeling this is looking good. But let's get to our first lock of the week. Lock number 1, we're going to stick to the Serie A because we did very good last week going 2-1. And sticking with the Serie A, I have Juventus against Atalanta. I got Federico Chiesa over 1.5 shots, minus 163. This is my guy right here. This is my guy. He's been my guy since the 2020 Euros when Italy won it all. And he is what he is, man. He's a dog. Dog. This guy had a brilliant game against Napoli. Like I said, he was creating chances, passing left and right. He even had lots of shots. He could have had 3 assists alone if Vlahovic could have finished. But nah, he still put up 3 shots with playing with Vlahovic. I think a shot on target, goal. Shot off target, and then a miss, and then a block shot. So that's 3 shots right there. And we only need 1.5 from minus 163. So that's looking really good. And like I said, even with Vlahovic, he had 3 shots. But lucky for us, there will be no Vlahovic this game. He's going to be suspended because he has too many yellows and he's not allowed to play. So even better. And there's no Moise Kean this game either. He's out with an injury still. So it's just him and Milik. And I'm not crazy about Milik at all. Federico averages 2 shots a game in the Serie A this year. 1 confirmed on net and 1 missed. So that's exactly what we need to hit that 163. And the last 5 games he's played without Vlahovic, he's hit this 1.5 shots on total 4 out of the 5 times. And the one he didn't, he was playing with Moise Kean. I'm telling you, if it's just him and Milik, he's hitting this no problem. And how Atalanta played against Bologna last week, come on now. Come on. He's going to have opportunity after opportunity. He's going to be making runs past the back line. He's going to get that through ball, and he's going to get it. I think he's going to get a goal here, too, the way he's been playing. He's feeling it right now. He's back from his injury. He's feeling good. And he's about to step up. They're still chasing the Scudetto. They can still catch Inter, but they have to win. They have to win. They have to score, and they have to win. I cannot say that again. I think Inter's up by 13 points right now. There's still 33 points remaining. So it's possible for them to come back. And if they want that Scudetto title, it's going to be on the tail of Chiesa, Federico. So for this lock, we're going to lock in Federico Chiesa over 1.5 shots minus 163. Now, lock number 2. We're going to stick with the Serie A because we did pretty damn good last week, 2-1. Not too bad. But for this lock, I got for you guys Fiorentina versus Roma. And I got goal scored before the 30-minute mark at minus 120. This game, I can honestly give you guys 3 locks for this game alone, but I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to stick to one, the one I believe in. The one I believe is the easy money lock. And after doing my research, I couldn't believe how violent and unpredicted this matchup gets between these two teams. These two are bitter rivals out here. This game isn't just about regional pride. This is more than just football. What did I say? This game is about regional pride. It is. And it's even though they're only 5 points away from each other in the standings, Atalanta is in 8th and what the hell? Oh, what am I talking, Atalanta? Fiorentina's in 8th and Roma's in 5th. There's only 5 points separating these two teams. And this is definitely a 6-point match. If Fiorentina can get the win, it stops them from moving up and catches them by 2. And they're fighting for that Europa League spot, for that Champions League spot. They want it. They want it. But this is more than just about regional football. This is about the rivalry between these two teams. Rome, the history, the Colosseum, the Circus Maximus, while Florence, the beauty, the art of the history of the two cities, so interconnected, so close together. This is personal when it comes to these two teams. And I'm telling you, these two teams do not like each other. The last 5 matches alone, we've seen a total of 5 red cards between these two teams. This series is violent. And that's not all. Not only has there been 5 red cards in those 5 matches, there's been a total of 32 yellow cards. Do you hear what I'm saying? That's a total of 37 cards in 5 matches. That's just under 8 cards a game being thrown at these two teams. It's crazy. So Here's one of the games I was going to give you guys. If you wanted to say both teams to receive 2+ cards or more at -188, I would not be mad at y'all at all. Has a very potential of being a beautiful hit, but that's not why we're here. We are here because there's going to be a goal scored before the 30-minute mark. I'm telling you, the last 7 of 10 games played against each other, the last 7 of 10, don't matter home or away, there has been a goal before the 30th minute in 7 of those 10 games. And now when we go see when they've played each other at the Fiorentina Stadium, the Stadio Artemio Franchi, there has been another 7 of 10 games in a row that there's been a goal scored between the first 30 minutes. I'm telling you. And it could be close to 8, but there was a penalty kick in one of them, and it got pushed to the 32nd when he scored. So very, very close to being 8 of 10. And that's not even it. When you look at the underlying numbers of how they played in the Serie A this year, Fiorentina, on average, this season scores in the 23rd mark, and they concede in the 25th mark. So they're either scoring before the 30th or they're getting scored on before the 30th. And it even gets heightened when they're at home. When they're at home, their average goal is scored on the 29th minute. Perfect. Exactly what we need. And they get scored on, conceded on, in the 20th minute. So they're going to either get one or score one. And with Roma, they average a goal in the 34th minute. So 34, 20, they're going to be right there. I think that's like around the 26th, 27th minute, there's going to be a goal. And even with Roma, they concede a goal on average in the 29th minute. So I don't know what else I can tell for y'all, but lock it in. Goal before the 30-minute mark. Lock that shit in, -120. And now my final lock. We ain't sticking to the Serie A. No, we're going to the AHL, the American Hockey League. Even though I'm going to be giving you 2 Canadian teams, we still head to the American Hockey League. So for this one, I have the Calgary Wranglers -130 against the Ontario Reign. Now, firstly, I did mention the NHL trade deadline, and this one is contingent on no one being traded. So if Calgary somehow manages to trade one of their goalies, even though the front office said they're not trading Markstrom anymore, but if they trade their other goalie, I think it's Dan Vladar, and they bring up Dustin Wolf, do not take this bet anymore. Do not take this bet. I'd flip the script, take Ontario Reign over them, because that's how much I believe in this guy, Dustin Wolf. Now, the reason I mentioned Dustin Wolf, he has been the AHL goalie of the year 2 years in a row. Dog. He is a straight dog, stud. He's a thoroughbred, whatever you want to call him. He is him. He is unbelievable. And I've checked how Calgary plays him. They don't care if they play him in a back-to-back. They're not going to give him a night off. They're going to run him back to back to back. They like to work him, and understandably so. He's the best. He's the best in the AHL. I think he's top 5 again this year in the AHL, so he could win it for a third time, depending how Askarov does in, I think it's Bridgeport? Norfolk, sorry. But anyways, back to what I was saying. So I checked the data. When he plays in back-to-backs, doubleheaders, whatever you want to call it, since November 21st, 2021, against the Ontario Reign in back-to-back games, when Dustin Wolf is starting the first game, the Calgary Wranglers are 7-1. 7-1 in those back-to-backs with Dustin Wolf starting them all. So he's a dog. And even this year, in their last 5 back-to-backs, they're 4-1 in their opening game with Dustin Wolf starting. I'm telling you, they're going to have 4 games in between their last game and this one. They play hard and physical. And with the time off, They're going to be giving it. And should I mention, these two teams are exactly tied in points. Exactly tied in points. The exact same record. And they're fighting for an AHL playoff spot. And this guy is going to step up because that's what he does. So lock it in. Calgary Wranglers, minus 130, money line. And now let's go to the moon. To the moon, the first one I got for you guys, Federico Chiesa. Anytime goal scorer plus 333. I'm telling you, there's no Vlahovic, there's no Keane. I'm not a fan of Milic, and this guy's found his form. Atalanta's defense has been, I was not impressed with them last week against Bologna, so I'm expecting him to expose them, at least get one goal. At least. I believe, Federico, I believe. And my next one, I got Fiorentina at Roma, and I have first half over 1.5 goals at plus 200. I think they get more than 1.5 goals. I think each team gets a goal. Maybe Fiorentina gets 2, maybe Roma gets 2. I don't know. I'm expecting a lot of goals in this match. So I like it a lot, plus 200. And my final one, I have the Calgary Wranglers to win by 1 goal exactly at plus 260. When I look back, sometimes they win in overtime against the Reign. Sometimes they just win by 1 goal. It's usually a tightly contested match, not usually more than a 5-goal game or 6-goal game. And I like this one a lot for it to come in at plus 260. I like that. And when you throw all of these together, that comes to plus 4,580. You throw $30 on it. Nice little pot of $1,400 and $4. And what more could you ask for after a hard, relaxing weekend? Beers in your hand. If you're not a beer guy, maybe you're smoking a joint. Who knows? But as long as you have a good weekend, gamble at your own risk. I'll see you next week. Peace.